Okay, good to be back. I'm glad that you had a chance to discuss this. I know we don't want to make you feel like you are overloaded with so many different programs. At the same time, we want to respond to the opportunity that we have right now. And that's why we want to make sure that GoViral and Confide are not in competition, but they are working together to the same end, to see every member a discipler. So let me share a screen here and continue with the more nuts and bolts of what exactly we expect to happen. So what do we expect with Go Viral? What's going to be happening next? Well, as you know, our goal is really to reach out, to be able to see new groups formed. And so what do we expect? Well, this is something new. This is not something that we've done before. This is a new experience. There's going to be bumps. There's going to be some small steps, and that's okay. We are still learning together. Like I said, we actually put this together in about 2 weeks. Normally, a program like this would take months and months to be able to put together. So we tried to put together things that we have learned in the past that are working and make it as simple as possible. So we're hoping that that's what we will have. But we know that there's going to be challenges as you get started with the implementation. So just be flexible. We will do our very best. We will try to be flexible as well. And let's just trust God to see this happen. I believe we're going to see many, many people who will start new groups, and those groups will begin to multiply. And that's what we're really excited about. I'm sure many of you have already been in contact with family members, relatives that before were not open to the gospel. Now they are more open, they're more willing to meet. We know people that are doing family devotions across the globe, where family members that may be scattered everywhere are now meeting together for devotions. So we believe this is going to be an exciting time to see God move. At the same time, some people are going to struggle. It's not easy. Not everybody is going to succeed, at least not immediately. It's going to take work. It's going to take trusting God to take steps of faith. So we know that not everyone is going to succeed, but we are going to, as much as possible, trust God and move with those that are able to see God at work. Then we also will be learning leadership. As Pastor Danny mentioned, what we've majored on in the past has been satellite churches, big meetings, and then groups that meet in addition to that. But what we're going to be learning about is what if that doesn't happen? And I want you to know, you guys that are in the Middle East, many of you have gotten a head start about that. You already know something about how it happens, and we want to learn from you about that as well. We also are going to grow in faith. We are going to take steps of faith that we haven't done before. So it may be difficult, but we believe that our faith is going to be stretched. We're going to grow, and we're going to see God do things that we are amazed at. So what are the phases? I already mentioned to you a little bit earlier, but let me go through this with a little different diagram. The first phase, which is what you are going to roll out during the next few weeks, is that you will start reaching out to people to share Christ with them, then follow those up and form them into a small group. To do that, we have a process of praying for people, prayer, care, share, but also looking for what we call people of peace, and a process for Bible study that we call obedience-based Bible study. These are the core components of phase one, and we've seen that if we apply those, we really see really amazing progress that is made. So look forward to that. It's simple. It's not difficult. It's not a lot of training that is involved, but in about 8 hours, you will learn the key principles and then have several months to be able to apply it. Once you have applied it, then we will go to phase two, phase three, and phase four. Phase two usually is about 2.5, 3 months later. Um, by that time, everybody that returns needs to have a group of at least 5 people that they have been meeting together with that are new. They are baby believers, they're new believers. Some of them are still pre-believers, but you're going through basic biblical Bible studies to help them grow in the faith. Then once you have that, in phase 2, we train you to grow that group into a house fellowship. So our goal is to have at least 10 people by the time you come back to phase 3. Then in phase 3, we will begin to identify new leaders to help them grow, to multiply small groups through these new leaders. So you will need to have at least 3 new leaders that you are training to do the same things you learned in phase 1 before you come back to phase 4. And then in phase 4, to be able to complete the process, you need to bring at least 2 new people to go through the next cycle of GoViral. So that's kind of the process. Between each phase, we have about 2.5 to 3 months of implementation. And in between, the people that are doing the facilitation, you will be meeting together with your group. You will pray for them. You will check up on them, how they are doing, give encouragement to them. So there will be continued coaching along the way. So that's kind of the big picture of the 4 phases of GoViral. Now, let me just suggest to you 7 simple steps to begin implementation. First, pray. And I don't say that like, hey, syempre, mga Christians tayo, we pray. No, what I mean is you need to mobilize people in your community, in your satellite, to really begin praying for this. Honestly, if God is not in it, if we are not praying about this, I don't expect the training itself is going to accomplish much. It really is God's movement that will make this happen. So pray, seriously. You may need to get a prayer coordinator. You may need to get the people in your whole fellowship to begin praying for this, but really take that seriously. Then choose a team. Now, I assume that the people that you are with tonight or today, wherever you are, this is the team that you've already chosen. But choose a team of people that will really be committed for the whole implementation period. Then set a schedule. And we hope that many of you have already done that. If not, by the end of this week, we hope that all of you will have a schedule for when you are actually going to roll it out. And we will give you some guidelines in a minute to do that. Then set a goal. How many people would you like to have? How many facilitators would you like to have? We just did in our pastoral area, we've got about 40 facilitators, around 200 people that are going through the process. And that was more or less what we had planned on doing. So begin planning and begin recruiting people. So you need to choose and train facilitators / coaches. You need to have 1 for every 5 to 7 people that will go through the process. And as we will see in a minute, the facilitators also will apply what they're learning. You're not just there to ask questions during the breakout. You are there to go through the whole process, and you also will be one of the people that will practice the things that you are taught. Then recruit participants. We'll talk about the right participants later, but in a nutshell, don't just think older believers. Think about brand new believers, people that are new to the fellowship. Many times they are the best people because they don't have preconceived ideas. They're open to new things. And when I say new, I mean young. Hindi kagaya ng mga matatanda like me. So you need to look for people that are younger, people that are in their 20s or 30s, because they often have more energy, more available time, and they're the ones that often can see things happen. And then begin the training. So yun ang mga steps natin. So the first 7 steps. Now, who are the key people involved in the process? Okay, first of all, you have the implementation leader. That person is going to oversee the GoViral implementation in your area, whether it's your satellite, whether it's a hub, I'm not sure how you're organized, but the implementation leader will be responsible for the whole rollout. The implementation leader will be the one to appoint facilitators based on the selection criteria that we will give you. So you will need to vet those facilitators. Now, we don't set a very high bar for the facilitators. They need to be D group leaders. They need to, I think, have a good reputation, but they don't need to have been Christians for many years. So again, the best people as facilitators are actually people that are starting to lead a D group, especially of younger believers that they can bring to their facilitation group. So the ideal situation is their D group becomes the group that they facilitate. So look for people that have a group of younger people that are excited that they can bring along to go through the training themselves. And then the implementation leader, you will coach and mentor the facilitators under your care and seek ways to transfer the process to future facilitators. So your goal is to reproduce this. And then you will track the D group multiplication to the 4th generation and beyond. So you want to make sure that not only do these guys start new groups, but you begin to multiply. And we're praying that even 4 generations within a year, which is possible. I know you may think it's not possible, but trust me, it can be done. Okay, what do the facilitators do? What do they need to know? Well, they are the ones to communicate with the members even before the scheduled training session. Why? Because just like what you just did, the facilitators will set up their group with a platform where they will meet for breakout even during the training. So even before the training begins, they should connect with them, set up either a Facebook Messenger group or whatever platform you will use, so that during the breakout, they already have formed a group and they're ready to meet together with them. Then they will coach and mentor the members under their care to ensure D group multiplication happens to the 4th generation. Now, we call people that are doing this facilitators, but it doesn't just mean like a true life facilitator. A true life facilitator, you facilitate during the activity, and then after that, people go their different directions. No, you are actually more of a coach to the people that you are facilitating. So you will continue to encourage and meet together with them. So you will communicate with them to track their progress and to make sure they're doing their assignments, and you will report their progress to the tracking coordinator, which is another member of the implementation team. So that's the role of the facilitators. How do you select a good facilitator? Well, they must commit to be accountable to the implementation leader. So the implementation leader is overseeing all of the facilitators. So they need to be willing to connect with, give reports back to, and to be mentored by. Second, they must commit to go through the whole GoViral training and to execute the process themselves. They're not there just so that they will be asking the questions during the breakout, or somehow, they're like a trainer that doesn't have to do the work. No, they will actually implement just like everyone else. They will also have helping mentor, coach, and facilitate during the training. So the criteria is they need to be a D group leader with a desire to see new generations of multiplication. They're too busy that they don't have time to start a new group, and also to coach the facilitator. They probably are coach the members. They may not be the right person. So you need to make sure that they have the available time to be able to do it, and they're committed to the process. So ideally, they would be a younger leader with a group of downlines who are eager to reach out to and disciple new believers. So that's our ideal person, is a relatively young person who has their own D group, and the D group is ready to do this and is excited about multiplication. So that is what you're looking for. Now, how do you choose participants? Well, first of all, pray that God would raise up the right people and that you would give them, he would give them the right heart, a real passion for reaching out to others. So select people you believe are most likely to apply the process and succeed regardless of their D group generation. I've found a lot of people, they think that the people that should be trained are the 1st generation disciples. And many times that's okay, but often the people that are more likely to apply are maybe 3rd generation or 4th generation, because they're excited to get started. They have a lot more contacts with non-believers, those that have been Christians for a longer time. Many times they have smaller networks of non-believing friends and relatives. So sometimes it's actually better to go to those that are at the lower generations because they have more networks. And choose younger leaders and potential leaders, not just people that are existing and well-seasoned leaders. Okay, Now, how does it work? So as you know, you have an implementation leader, and he will be reporting to Nigel. So good job, Nigel. You will do all of the hard work. Please give Nigel a hand for his work. He's been doing a great job with the Beyond team, and now we're giving him more to do. So the implementation leader will interface directly with Nigel. If there's any questions or any needs, please contact him. The rest of the team, you will work through your implementation leader. So the facilitators, they will report to the implementation leader. Of course, the participants under the facilitators. There will be a training person, a person responsible for what happens during the training sessions and making sure that the materials are available, the videos are in place, all of the side of the actual training itself being done. That person is responsible. Then you need a tech person. And may I just make a strong suggestion? This person shouldn't be an older person with less experience with technology. This needs to be a real techie person, somebody that can learn quickly how to use Zoom and all of the different facets of that, people that can use StreamYard, other platforms to be able to use for training. So this is a tech person that's really good at the technology side. They will be the ones doing the manning of all of the things that need to be done during the training itself, doing all of the platform stuff. Then you need a tracking person, someone who will make sure that all of the groups that are formed are being recorded. They're in the D group app or the small group app, and that they are tracking to make sure that things are being done. So they will work together with the facilitators to track the progress of the people that are going through. Now, why is this important? No one can go to phase 2 that doesn't have a group of at least 5 new people. So the tracking person needs to vet to make sure that they're able to come back. Don't just assume that people, if they're trying to implement and maybe they've only got 1 or 2 people, but we'll give them grace. Actually, we don't have much grace in this. We will let them wait until the next cycle so that they can form their group. But it's very important that they really form a group of at least 5 people before they come back for phase 2. So we are we're not very gracious people. At this point, we really need people to actually accomplish what is needed, and that's why the tracking person is there. Okay, next, how will we actually implement? So what will it look like? Well, it's going to look something like this. You form the team. So we've got the implementation leader. You've now got a team of people praying. You organize your team, and that's part what we are doing right now. You set your goals and set the schedule, and then you make sure that you connect with Nigel to let him know how things are going to go. Give him the schedule, the number of people that you expect to attend, and give him updates periodically to see how things are going. Then you need to train the preparation for training. The implementation leader will choose and train facilitators. Before you start the training, we have a 2-hour facilitators training that you will need to go through. And everyone that will facilitate must go through that. That's no exceptions because they need to understand the whole process. This isn't like most trainings where they just are there to be able to ask questions. There's much more involved for a facilitator. So we need to make sure that they are on board and they're ready to really step into that role. And then enlist participants. So you start a campaign, get everybody that you can from your satellite or all of those that you think are the right people to be involved. You really go after them and intentionally invite them to be a part. Then the training itself, make sure that the schedule is communicated. Whatever materials are needed should be distributed. By the way, we do not distribute the notes or the videos beforehand. We only do that like a day before because we don't want the facilitators to start preparing a lesson that they're going to teach during the training. We want them just to facilitate, meaning they will ask questions, they will stimulate discussion, but they will not be the ones to teach because the whole process is really revolving around this facilitation process, not a teaching process. So we don't give out the notes because we don't want people to prepare to teach a lesson. We want them simply to be able to facilitate the process. Then invite the facilitators and participants to an FB closed group. Now, for some of you, this is going to be problematic because you have difficulty using closed groups. You'll have to work together with the tech side, with Nigel, to find out what's the best platform. But in general, we have found it's better to use Facebook closed groups than it is to use Zoom. There's many reasons for that, but we will be having a specific training for those that are doing the tech to be able to evaluate which is the best platform. So you can choose the platform, but we highly encourage a closed Facebook group as a way to be able to use it to do the implementation. So the tech person will set up that closed group. If in case you do go with Zoom, they will help you with Zoom or whatever platform you use. But we do encourage you to consider doing a Facebook closed group. Then you do the rollout. So the implementation leader will make sure that the training sessions are done well. The training person will manage the training during the actual event based on the class design. They will give you a minute by minute breakdown of what happens during the training sessions. You need to choose, are you going to do one session each week or 2 sessions or 3 sessions? We really don't encourage doing just 1 session per week because that will take you 8 weeks to get through, and that's awfully long. So we'll talk about scheduling in a minute, but we encourage at least 2 sessions per week. Even better if you can do 3 at a time so that you can get through in just 3 weeks. So anyway, you can look at that. Technology will provide tech support during the actual event. We don't encourage that the training person will be handling the actual putting up of the PowerPoints or the videos. Let the tech person do that so that you will be free to be able to do other things and manage the video playback. And then finally, training progress. The implementation leader will make sure that they continue to coach and mentor the facilitators. They encourage to hear stories so that you can share stories with your group of what God is doing. We have a hashtag CCF GoViral. We encourage people to post all of their stories using that hashtag. The facilitators will coach and mentor their participants, and they will update the progress tracker. So whoever is the tracking person, they will be in communication with as they get new groups started. And the tracking person will track progress. They will make sure that they are getting the new groups formed into the small groups app so that we can track and make sure we're making progress. So that's how it's going to look like in phase 1. So in phase 1, what will the participants actually be doing? Well, there's several kind of key milestones that they will be doing, things that we will check on. In the initial first couple of sessions, they will begin by making a list of people that they will pray for, at least 10 people that they will pray for. And so that they will be the people that they will begin working towards reaching out to. Then they will look for people of peace. These are people that can open doors, that have broad networks, that will be able to help us to form our groups. And you will learn about that during, I think, session 3. Then they will practice prayer, care, share, or PCS. We know that we've done that in the past, but this is very focused. And we will learn a thing called the amazing question, a way to be able to pray with people for the requests that they have so they can see God at work. And then finally, to form a group using the OBBS process, which again, you will learn in the course of the training.